Okay, thank you so much everyone for joining us here today. We've got Greg Hull with IUPUI Herron School of Art and Design, who's going to be doing a little digital walkthrough for us. Just a few housekeeping tips. If you could keep yourself muted and keep your video off. If you have any questions, feel free to throw them into the chat. We'll do a quick Q&A at the end with Greg. But without further ado, feel free to take it away.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Appreciate the intro, and thank you all for joining us. Again, my name is Greg Hull. I'm a sculptor. I'm also the interim dean of the Herron School of Art and Design, and I'm also one of the state's commissioners on the Indiana Arts Commission, so I get to play lots of roles. I really do appreciate you making time to join us. I wish it was face-to-face in person, but that's why we're here to talk. We're going to talk about some things that we've been exploring that have helped us as a school sort of share out our gallery experiences, and want to try and make some things available to you as well. So I'll talk about a couple different tools. We did begin trying to explore some just 360-degree cameras, and they worked okay, but they tended to distort things. So we moved away from that and started to look at some other options. I'm going to share screens here real quickly. Okay. This site actually is available. You can climb in here and explore it. It's called Archsteps. I'm going to pick an exhibition here for us to look into. But what I've found exciting about this is that you can build your own space. You can actually build these walls. They tend not to have roofs on them, but it is possible to, oh, my mouse is backwards to me. They tend to, they'll have the sky typically, but you can add didactic information on the walls. You can navigate the physical spaces that you built. Without much difficulty. It's pretty intuitive. You can get up close on works and see them, and the resolution is reasonable. It's not bad. The other thing I like though is that you can click on a work, you can get additional information. So you would have the ability to document work digitally, upload it, add some information like this. And the prices for this tool are not that bad, really. They vary. I'll leave you a link to this website, but I found this to be a fairly useful tool and not bad. We started to explore this for some student exhibitions before we started to look at some other options. So this was one way to begin to explore that. But I want to go ahead and jump to a tool that we're using now at Herron. This uses a technology to capture 360-degree imagery at a much higher resolution. It's a tool called Matterport, and it was designed for the real estate industry. And so one of our hopes at Herron and IU, but also through the Arts Commission, is that we could work with realtors around the state to make this tool available, maybe do some workshops on how to do the actual capture, and then help people move in and capture the work. This is an exhibition. Beatriz Vasquez, Herron alum, does really beautiful work. This is all work created out of cut paper, and we can move to specific spots in the gallery where these circles on the floor indicate spaces where the actual 360-degree images were taken. So we move to those and we can see different elements. One thing I like about this is a very three-dimensional space, getting to see the shadows, getting to move around and float through the space. But it gives that ability for the audience to not just be a captive audience. We were looking at just using like GoPros or other video tools to move people through the galleries. This tool lets it be not so much of a captive audience as it is sort of an engaged audience, and giving some control, sort of an autonomous audience, but giving some control back to the audience and giving them the ability to move through the spaces. So this exhibition and all the exhibitions we've been scanning, these are back from May. This particular one is back from May, are still housed on our website as well, so we can link back to these. So we're building sort of an archive of past shows that you can come and visit, and so really excited just about the possibilities there. I'm going to jump into a different space. This is one of the current exhibitions. So let me get into this. I'm going to jump this up to full screen. So this brings you into the Berkshire, Reese, and Paul Gallery. And like the other tool, we can click and move around the space. Some adjustments on this tool. This cursor has a circle around it. If you let it sit for a minute, it disappears. Really like that addition. And in all these spaces, you'll see these little tags. These are called matter tags, and this gives us the ability to get some additional information about different work in the space. One thing I wanted to show you though is as we get up closer and zoom in on these things, the resolution is actually really high. This is some of the best resolution I've seen. So we're excited to think that this was a tool that would help get people into our galleries during the time period they were closed. It's helped us do some virtual receptions. When we can't have large groups of people, we can still bring people into the gallery in groups this way, digitally. I want to grab one of these matter tags and show you a little bit of what they do. So these tags are just additional information that we provide that allow us to see the work on a larger scale, provide some didactic information. You can also pull that out of the way to get a bigger view. You can't zoom in and out of these views, and sometimes there's live views. Walking around the gallery, you can get more detail, but this is a nice way to manage the content that we have as we move through the spaces. So I'm going to jump out to another view. I'm going to go into another gallery. This is an exhibition that is up now as well. This is Jana Harper, and this is a video that's in the space. And so I noticed with the Archsteps, the first tool I showed you, you could do this as well, but we're actually able to grab a video and begin to play it. So we can bring that up full screen. This is Jana visiting a space in the UP in Michigan, an area that her family historically had been from. She's Native American, and she's reading the names of her ancestors, but also all the ancestral families in this area. If you get a chance to visit the galleries, these are there. You can come in person, but you can also come and see this work through the virtual visit that we're actually on right now. And she's in the process of reading all 420 of these names of family and other folks that live in the area at the time that this was inhabited. Cool. I think one of the things I've been really excited about though is this idea of the virtual reception. It was very disappointing with the shows that were up in March, right before the pandemic. We were the night before the opening and the night before the artist lecture, and we found out we could no longer bring crowds of any size into the building. So we started exploring the virtual gallery for that reason. And there have been some questions about whether a virtual gallery would prevent people from coming to the actual gallery. We've had the opposite experience. It's been more that this has drawn people to the gallery that hadn't necessarily intended to come, but they've come across it and found it interesting and then wanted to come see it in person. We're running virtual opening receptions now. So I'll show you a quick clip here. We had a reception. We had guests come to the reception. The gallery director, Joseph Mella, who's pictured here, walked everyone through the galleries, explained the tool, but really just took us work by work. And the artists from all three exhibitions were in the Zoom as well. So they were able to talk about work in real time while we were walking through the gallery. This work by Donna Ferrato was recognized as one of the 100 most influential photographs by, I believe it was, I can't remember, Time Magazine. Anyway, a really incredibly important image. I'm going to play this just for a second. So I'm going to jump out of this as well. Sorry. I'll try to get out of this. So that's Joseph. I'm going to jump out of that just for a second. I'll climb back in. But during that time, we were able to have a Q&A with the artists. We were able to walk through, have the artists present different works. A question would come up and we could go to look at a work that the question was about with the artist. So it was really special. We also had people from everywhere. We had people from within the community, outside of Indianapolis, across the country. We had one guest who came from Wales. And so we had this really fabulous way to bring a larger conversation to bear in the, by using this tool. And what we've realized is we've developed some best practices that will exist beyond the pandemic. These are ways we think we can really reach a more broad audience beyond just Indianapolis, but also in Indianapolis, out into the state and across the country and really across the world. There's no reason, there's no limit to who could come to these. So that's really exciting. And having all the artists available in real time as people came to these spaces has been just really, really exciting. I'm gonna grab us some links real quick to share with you. Oop, I think I may have shared those privately. Please. There we go. So these are links to different elements to our current exhibitions, and you can also get to our recent past exhibitions. These are all on Herron's website. Also, there's an upcoming virtual opening on November 12th at 6:30. If you'd like to join us, there are 3 exhibitions for that. Those are described in this link. And there's a link here to the Matterport. I also should have put a link in, I'll grab it in a moment, for Archsteps. So I found Archsteps to be a really nice tool, something you could build yourself, some way that we could share things across the state. But I like this Matterport tool very much. It's higher resolution. I think the experience begins to approach being in the gallery, gives the viewer more autonomy, and creates a lot of interesting opportunities. But really, ultimately, what we're trying to do is find ways to leverage this technology to really enhance the exhibitions that we're doing, looking for ways to invite more conversation. I think the other thing we've realized that in these virtual spaces, we can start to do exhibitions that aren't really confined by the walls of the gallery. We can begin to pull work from different areas. I think it's going to be a really exciting addition just to the field. And I think this will become more the norm as we move forward. I'm just going to climb back into a gallery, but I thought I'd take a moment just to see if there were questions and we could try to address those.
Yes, we did have one question. They're wondering how much time is devoted to filming and uploading the exhibitions?
Very good. So if you were doing the Archsteps, the first link I showed you, you would need to have every image that you wanted to show in the gallery as a digital image. And then just it takes time to upload the individual images, arrange them, build the space. For the Matterport, we had done all 3 galleries in about a day and a half. It takes, if you remember the spaces, and I'll open one back up, every round circle on the floor indicates a space where we've done a 3D scan of the space. And so it takes a few hours, but it's actually not that bad. And a lot of the content that we were sharing, these little Matterports, the small circles next to the work that could take you out to a video or to more background information, we had those things ahead of time. So really from the time we installed the show, did the 3D scanning and uploaded it, we were ready within about 3 days to open virtually, which I think is sort of remarkable.
It really is. It's crazy how far things have come in such a short amount of time and the opportunities that have been created. It really is quite amazing.
Yeah, and it's been exciting. We've watched this technology from a distance for a while, but always been concerned about the resolution that the work suffered. It was either, like I mentioned, with these they're very cool 360 cameras. A lot of those that we were using a few years ago would distort everything. All the vertical lines would curve around and wasn't terribly high resolution, so it impacted the work. I think what we're seeing now in both of these tools, Archsteps and Matterport, they're high enough resolution that the work can be presented in a way that doesn't take anything away from it. Other questions?
We've got another one that says, does a 3D scan require special tools? Can you use a video camera, or do you recommend hiring someone to scan the space so that you only need to upload images as the exhibits change?
Excellent question. So Matterport has a variety of cameras. Some are higher ends, higher resolution, some are less so. This is why the reason that I wanted to show this tool is because we are using this across the state in realtors' offices. And so the hope is that those realtors would have those cameras, and we can make connections with the realtors to use those cameras as a way to support the arts in their community, and to be, I think those could be really interesting linkages. But yeah, it is a special camera that's able to stitch that all together to make it seamless. So as we rotate around, and we'll jump back in a gallery just to look some more, but it does take a special tool. The training to do that, we actually think we could do a couple of short workshops, or provide a short workshop. It's something I've talked to IU about, to make this available on different campuses around the state, or to do it virtually, and just to bring people up to speed if a gallery or an individual artist wanted to explore this technology, and we could connect them with someone who has the camera and the ability to host this, then we could help provide the training to bring that all together, and then exhibit it, and then all join you wherever you are, whatever part of the state you're in.
That is so fantastic, Greg. That's insane. Would they reach out to you directly if this is something they're interested in learning more about, or is there someone else they should email?
I'm happy to be the point person for that. So I'm working with a group at IU called the Advanced Visualization Lab, and their role is really all things 3D. They scan everything, so 3D objects and 3D spaces, and so they've been a great team to work with. I work with a group here on IUPUI's campus, and they work with their team in Bloomington, and we're just now talking about how we might be able to make an effort to serve everybody in the state, to make, trying to sort of lift and advance the arts. I think one thing we realized as we came into the pandemic was that any sense of competition between galleries, any sense of competition between regions of the state should have gotten thrown out, because we rely so heavily on each other. And if one area suffers, or if we lose one area, if one gallery closes, it's a loss for everybody. So this is an effort to try and find some way to support everybody, to make arts in the state of Indiana, just to amplify that and to do that together. I can't think of anything more exciting, actually.
Indeed. So we do have two more questions. So the first one, would you be willing to throw your email into the chat for those folks who are interested? And then the second one is wondering if you could share information related to costs of the program.
Yeah, so I was looking at the costs for the Archsteps. Here's my email address. I was looking at costs for the Archsteps. I saw a couple different quotes. I set one up myself, built a space, put some things in, and there were no costs. I did read a couple things about 20 euros, so I thought that was interesting. But I haven't built myself a fully blown one. I think it's comparable to the amount of tech you use. There may be some tiers, but so far everything I've seen from the site is this is almost free. And so I think it's great. They do host some of these exhibition sites on their website. So it's, I believe, archsteps.com. I have it open here someplace, but I will grab that if I can before the end.
Yeah, I was going to say, Stephanie threw that in the chat in the beginning,
okay,
too.
Fantastic, thank you. The Matterport is a different beast a little bit, and it was something that at first we weren't sure we should share because we didn't think it was scalable, but it seems because of the connection with realtors, it could be very scalable. With Matterport, you're working with this company called Matterport. They actually host all of these experiences on their own website. That's why they're able to be so high resolution. So I mean, working with a realtor that is already working with Matterport and using a little bit of their bandwidth to do the gallery, to do another space. I think this is going to be something we can work out. We were paying our team to do some scanning, and because it was 3 galleries over a day and a half, it was more, I think, than most galleries, but we were still under, even for the largest of our galleries, we were able to do that for under $300 to scan the gallery. So, and I think that'll vary. I think if you're doing the scanning yourself, and if this is a partnership with a realtor, I know this is, we may not be able to connect all these dots, and that's why I really wanted to show Archsteps as well, because I think in the interim, that could be a really fantastic tool to help. But I'm also interested in actually both my roles as a commissioner on the Arts Commission, but also as an educator. and part of the university system at IU, I want to serve the entire state. So we're going to look for ways to do that. And we think the arts through the school, but also through communities, is just an essentially important part of the real heart and soul of the state.
All right, we've got one more question. So how would you feel about someone, a small county museum, volunteer-based arts council, hiring a college intern to do the scanning in cooperation with the university for money and community scholarship credits?
I think it's a great idea. And I really thought that might be how we would start to roll it out, provide some of the resources we have on whichever campus we'd be working from and try and connect those. I know one of the things that I enjoy actually about being part of the university is the effort to connect with community and to make those linkages in as fully as possible. So I think this is an opportunity just to build more rapport and to build stronger relationships between campus and community. And we've all heard stories about sort of that, the campus and the townies, or the campus and the community. I think the goal is to have them be really integrated and really support each other, because I think they are mutually dependent and mutually supportive. I could also help connect if you're in a different part of the state. I'm in central Indiana, not that I love traveling, so I might come see you anyway. But because we have campuses all over the place, we could help connect you with somebody who is closer by if that was important. And, yeah.
And if anyone has any other questions, feel free to unmute yourself and ask if you'd like, or throw them in the chat, either way around.
Cool. I'm going to. All right. Trying to get rid of this. There we go. Why don't I open up another, I can walk us through another exhibition.
That'd be great.
Just 1 second. Yeah, I had thought I would be on a different computer for this. Best laid plans. Okay, I'm going to get back to this, and I'm going to share screens again. There we go. So if you do want to visit these galleries, simply go to Herron's website, gallery and exhibitions. The current exhibitions are listed here. If you would like to see some of the past exhibitions, we can jump out to these. And, so. This is an exhibition by an artist named Sharon Sherpa, really wonderful artist, is from Nepal. This is the exhibition that would have opened the night after we had to stop having large groups in the building, which was really unfortunate. This was a lot of work to not get to realize, but through the process, we got to know him very well. He wasn't able to return to Nepal, so he stayed in Indy for a while and then went on to California. And so we were able to Zoom with him, was sort of a resident artist at Herron. So this was our very first show that we scanned. And actually, it's just giving us some didactic information. And you can see these different spots on the floor. And again, these are just the locations where a scan was made. And so for a space, and this is a large space, you can see there are quite a few objects we need to have in this space. But even without sort of these different dots on the floor, I can move around and navigate, so I can zoom in. And again, I think the thing I'm most impressed by is that the resolution holds up surprisingly well compared to all the other tools I've seen. So, but I still was impressed with the Archsteps as well. I thought it had a very high resolution as well. Cool. I want to see this little guy. So if you'd like to come in and tour the galleries, please do. They're there as a resource. I will say that the exhibitions that are up right now at Herron, if you're in the city or would like to come in, they are open, and we do have protocols where we keep the total number of people down to a safe size. There are hand washing protocols, a single entrance, a single exit. But we are still inviting people to come in and visit the spaces in real time, or to visit via Zoom. And still just have found these tools to be really, really remarkable, and things that we absolutely will continue to do beyond the end of the pandemic.
So we've got two more questions. The first one, does it perform well on mobile screens?
Yeah, I have worked on mobile screens. I've shown it to a lot of people that way. I was concerned as well, but yeah, it actually does. If you go to our website, you can still link out to through that tool, or you can follow the links I gave you, and they should still work. You should still be able to navigate the space, still be able to open the various matter tags, these things that give us the additional information. It's interesting, this tool has not been used in galleries for very long. We're actually talking with Matterport, we being the arts community, about maybe making these dots not quite so present and so they don't begin to impact the visual experience. But I guess the thing I really love is that we could have had a slideshow, but there's always something really amazing about the curatorial space itself and what the gallery director has done in the space. So getting to experience that, I think, has always been a part of the experience of the show as well. So other questions?
Yes, the second question, since you mentioned that the gallery is still open, do you need to call ahead? Are there particular hours? So on and so forth.
Yeah, so I'm gonna grab that for you as well. See if we can do that without. Yeah, if you go to our website, you can get back to the gallery. Cool. I'm going to share again. I'll grab a link if I can. So all I've done is gone back to Herron Galleries and just click Galleries itself. And right here, visit the gallery year round. Actually, I was thinking this is our link. If I don't find it, nope, it is not. Okay. We do have gallery hours. I'm surprised it's not right here. Let me see if I can find it. This is our next virtual gallery exhibition. That's terrible. I should memorize these hours. So yes, the gallery is open. We are able to have people coming off the street, but we had also wanted to collect a little bit of information from folks. So you can email to reserve a time to know that you'd have a time there. And I have to apologize, I don't have that handy right here. It's an excellent question, and I'm sorry I can't answer it. But yes, and you can also walk in off the street. We do require that everyone wear masks. Social distancing is still required, but if you come as a group, you're able to move as a group. There is a hand washing protocol before you enter the space. And I think I mentioned there's a single entrance and a separate exit we have people use. And you can stay as long as you want. Those spaces are large enough we can manage them. The smallest of the spaces only holds 3 people at a time unless you are there as a group. But yeah, and I can email me, and I would be happy to send you a link to that information. So I love questions I can't answer. They
Great. And then this will be our last question before we hop off for the session. Would like to know if you could talk more about how you handled the artist talks for the receptions.
Yeah, I'm happy to. So the gallery director for this first one just was going to be was sort of the MC. So he brought everyone in. We were going to do it like a webinar, and decided we really wanted it to be the same as we're having right now, where it could be a two-way conversation, either through the chat or towards the end of the Q&A, we opened it up for real-time questions, which was really special. But the gallery director took us into a gallery, talked generally about the show, picked a work that he wanted to talk about, talked briefly about it, and then invited the artist to build on that, and then let the artist take over and lead us to another spot in the exhibition and talk about the work, and then kind of connect the work to other works, which was really special. You get to see the thought process and sort of a different and kind of unique view from the artist about the exhibition itself. And then we did that for each artist, and then at the end there was an open Q&A where the artist would answer really any questions that came up. So it was like an artist lecture and an opening reception all together. Just we couldn't be in the same room, but we were virtually in the same room. We actually, as skeptical as I was about Zoom, I love Zoom. I'm so grateful we have it.
Indeed. Well, thank you so much, Greg. This has been so informative and so many helpful tips and links, and I'm sure you're going to get tons of emails because this is being recorded, and we'll be sharing out all the links with everyone following the close of the homecoming today. So we got one more session. You got 2 left to pick from, but thank you so much, Greg. We really appreciate it, and so glad to have you.
Thank you, everyone. Enjoy the day. Be safe and stay positive. We can do this.
Thanks again.
My pleasure.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.